Well, hello everybody. Back for another live stream. Today's topic is going to be caring for your hair, colored or otherwise. I just want to give some basic knowledge about what it takes to keep this looking good and discussing what the illusion is that encourages it to look good. Um, I'm coming down from a head cold. I apologize for my voice, but I will do my best to speak clearly. And let's begin with my business card. This is just to show you what is involved in a hair. I know you can't read it, it's backwards. But basically, this is a hair follicle right here. And the only place that hair grows is right here. This is the only place that hair grows from. You have a blood supply at the bottom of the root in the bulb, and as the hair grows, it pushes up and out. Everything past this growth area is absolutely dead and is not viable to be called healthy. I don't like calling hair healthy because there's no blood supply. There's no blood supply in there. There's no nerves. You cannot get a cut in your hair and have it heal up with a scar. It is just dead. Now, in here, we have a growth area that is affected very much by your own health. This is the part that can be healthy. The hair shaft, not healthy because there's no health or way to make health involved in the process. Excuse me one second. So the only thing that can be healthy is the root. A healthy root means that your hair will grow at the average pace of a half an inch a month. Averages being what they are. Some people it's more, some people it's less. But generally speaking, half an inch a month, and that it will come out as smooth, shiny, and supple as you would want your hair. If, for whatever reason, the root area of your hair is in an unhealthy state or is in a state that is not getting the nutrients it needs, the hair that comes out will either be very dry, very fragile, very limp. It won't behave as well and won't look as nice as hair that has a healthy root. So to keep your hair root healthy, you need to keep your body healthy. And it sounds kind of silly, but it really is. What goes into your body can come out through your hair. It goes into the root and starts being deposited into the growing portion of your hair. So say you've accidentally ingested lead. We hope not, but if you have, some of that will be processed into your hair and will start being pushed out and growing out through the hair shaft. Therefore, you can test somebody's hair to see if there is any levels of that in there. That's why they can do drug testing on hairs, is because what goes in here can drop out, can drop out into the hair because the body isn't worried about backflow. Once it grows past this growth portion, it's out. So some things that help hair and hair growth, like here I have marked off, it's not healthy. Hair isn't healthy. Hair is dead. There's no health. It is mostly made of keratin, and that is just a protein. It makes up your hair. It makes up your fingernails. It is a pretty good indicator of your health. If you look at between your nails and your hair, if they are growing at an average rate and are relatively smooth, relatively unencumbered, you can then have basically healthy looking hair, just not healthy hair. Hair isn't healthy. You have melanin in your hair, which is what contributes to the color. When your hair decides to, and body biology decide or have made the shift to no longer having pigment in the hair, the melanin production goes away and your keratin production increases to cause a thicker hair shaft, which can be why it is so difficult to color gray hair. Here are a few things that can help contribute to nice looking hair that portrays a level of health in appearance. So biotin and your other B complex vitamins are very helpful in encouraging the growth and continued growth of your hair. Cholesterol is important to keep it supple. Also, your fats are important to keep the hair supple. If you like dry hair, you can avoid cholesterol and fats. A lot of times, your diet can very much affect what your hair looks like. If you have a well-balanced diet with all of your vitamins and minerals included and covered, you're more likely to have hair that is shiny, supple, and healthy looking. Whereas if you're missing a nutrient or your body is having a hard time processing a nutrient, then you may find yourself with hair that is a little bit lackluster, hair that is dry, frizzy, flyaway, fragile even, especially in the case of cholesterols and fats. They can help keep the hair from becoming too fragile. The shinier your hair, the smoother your cuticle, which would indicate a level of health in your body. Now, that can also be made to look that way with the addition of oils, silicones, various conditioners, using a flat iron, even though the irony is using a flat iron to create smoothness in the hair is also causing heat damage every time. There's really no way to avoid it. You can mitigate it to a small degree by utilizing various protectants, heat protectants that will stop your hair from burning up, but the heat is really, really overwhelming because there's no way for your hair to repair itself. If you are trying to repair it, you need to use products meant for merely filling and strengthening. You can't repair hair in the way that if you got a cut on your hand and it healed up and then you have a scar and then eventually it goes away. Hair can't do that. So most of how you have to care for it is internally and preventatively. Avoiding washing too much, because you need to let your natural oils that are on your scalp and present to be able to work through your hair. One great way to do that is to use a boar bristle brush. Do like they used to say, to do 100 strokes. You don't have to do 100 strokes, but if your hair is of a nature that it isn't terribly curly, you can nightly or first thing in the morning, while your hair is still dry, take and brush full strokes, root all the way to tip. And that helps increase the shine, it helps increase the luster, it decreases the frizz, because you're going to end up having the distribution of your natural oils throughout your hair. If that feels too, it might sound kind of gross, like, oh, you didn't wash your hair but you brushed your oils through it. They're supposed to be there. It's not a matter of not having oils in your hair. And we've been kind of sold a little bit of a lie that you have to wash your hair every day. You don't want to get greasy buildup. And of course you don't want greasy buildup. That's why you use a boar bristle brush and work it through. You can then sometimes go 2 or 3 days before you have to wash it. Now, some people may have less ability to go that long between washing, for the sake of whether it's the thickness of the hair, the curliness of the hair, the fineness of the hair. But you don't have to wash every single day. Maybe a nice rinse, just to, especially if you've ended up maybe working out and you just want to rinse the sweat out, that's fine. But you don't have to wash it every day. It can actually lead to drying out your scalp. It can lead to overstimulating of the hair follicle to the point where your hair will drop into the falling out stage faster in some cases. Not all. The hair's pretty strong in the follicle, but you don't have to wash it all the time. Mostly what you want to do is to start from the inside and have it be apparent as it's growing that you're taking care of yourself. If you are highly stressed out, your body tends to focus more of its energy in maintaining your internal organs rather than keeping hair on your head. You can be bald and still be alive, which can be why when you are under a lot of stress, you can start losing hair. The downside is that now you're losing hair, so now there's stress involved with losing hair. That's not a great thing, and it's obviously easier said than done. Stop stressing so your hair can grow back. The thing is that even when your hair does begin to grow back, it's going to take months. If you figure a ½ inch of growth right between my fingernails, ½ inch of growth every month, and you've lost amounts of hair, and your hair, the growing part is buried sometimes as deep as a ½ inch below the skin surface. So once the hair, the stress is past, first it has to start growing again. Then it has to get up to the surface of your skin, which could be a couple weeks, could be 3 or 4 weeks. Once it gets here, now it has to continue to grow up and out. And that takes approximately 1 month every ½ inch. So right now my roots are out about a ½ inch. So that was about a month ago that I colored my hair. So imagine if my hair had fallen out and I'm trying to wait for it to regrow, and in a month all I have are these little baby fuzzies that are only half an inch long, it takes a while for you to start noticing progress. And this goes with, say you start a supplement regimen, a hair, skin, and nails, a biotin supplement, prenatal vitamins, any of the above, and you want to use that to help get your hair growth kicked into high gear. You may not notice any real changes for about, let's say if we do my bangs, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, you might not really start noticing any big differences for 4 to 6 months in your hair, and it can feel like you're not getting anywhere with it, where what you really need to do is to stick with something that helps promote hair growth and hair root health. Then once it's out here and you finally got it beginning to grow, then you can start looking at the topical things for your hair. You want to create the appearance of healthy hair. So smooth, shiny, not too fuzzy. Now the thing is, a lot of these little fuzzes, because I'm going to show you mine, my little fuzzes, those are all baby hairs. Every hair has a growth cycle. It starts at the root, starts growing up and out, and that can last anywhere from 2 to 6 or more years of growing. So if you figure 6 inches every year, give or take, it's, you know, it takes a while. Once it's grown out to what I call the apex length, which for some people is their shoulders, which is unfortunate. They probably have about a 2-year growth cycle. Then each individual hair sits at that growth length and rests. And the resting phase can be, in some cases, 3 to 6 months, maybe more, maybe less. And then eventually a new hair comes in. I'm going to use my little cardigan. So you've had this hair sitting here in the resting phase. It's no longer growing, so it's just resting. And then pretty soon it starts pinching off the hair and a new one starts growing in underneath. So then once this new hair starts growing in, it pushes the old hair out. So then you have a little tiny baby hair that's just barely sticking up, and then you get these little fuzzy wuzzies that are just baby hairs that haven't got long enough to get weight on them. So a lot of times when people have fuzz or frizzy hair, it's a lot of times these little baby hairs that just aren't very heavy, and they stand up. They respond to atmospheric situations. The ions in the air can attract the hair and start causing it. Think of like when you take a balloon and you rub it really good and then you hold it and your hair goes. It's kind of what happens in the air. And using various smoothers are a good way to calm them down, or maybe just a little bit of hairspray to create that smoothness that indicates health. To create shine is another thing. To have shiny hair would say that, oh, I'm well nourished enough that I have all the nutrients I need in my hair. Therefore, using shine enhancers, whether it's oils or silicone based products, or some styling products that have pearl or mica in it, can add that reflectiveness, so then your hair can look more shiny. Also, just distributing your natural oils through your hair can help make things look more shiny. And then also getting regular trims. not cutting all your hair off, but maintaining regular trims, because most people's hair, I just had mine cut, so but braided, so it looks like it's all crooked. Most people, if they have damage to their hair, it's going to be in this last ½ inch or so, not any more than that. But if you take too long to get a trim to keep it from fraying, what will happen is that last ½ inch, as the hair starts breaking off, goes up. And now, instead of having your last ½ inch here, it's now broken off, and now your last ½ inch is here. Just for demonstration purposes, my hair's in pretty decent shape right now. It's not saying that you have to cut your hair off. You generally don't. But if you wait too long, that's when the look, instead of being even and smooth and shiny, starts looking frayed and dry, and you're more likely to tangle, especially at the bottom, because the ends are just, I mean, they can be old. I would say that probably my hair on the ends, let's do some math. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably at least 5 years old. So anything that's 5 years old, that's been whipped around, stuck in my clothes, stuck in seat belts, stuck in doors, taken outside without putting proper sunscreen on my hair, which I do all the time, and I shouldn't, especially with hair like this, with color treated hair. The hair is just going, it gets beat up. There's no way to avoid that. So doing regular maintenance trims can help keep your hair from getting to the point where it's breaking off and breaking off and breaking off, where while each individual hair won't need more than a ½ inch cut off, at a certain point comes the V down the back of somebody. And I'm sure most everybody has seen this on at least one person, where their hair technically is long, like maybe even past their butt, maybe down to their knees, but it's only like one piece in the middle, and everything else is broken off from the shoulders down. You know, so you see like, and it's straggly and broken off. It's not like, oh, somebody purposely shaped a V and there it's like down to nothing. That's when you have those really, really big haircuts to make it look healthy. Because to get everything to a point where it looks relatively even and on purpose, you have to take from whatever that shortest piece on the side, treat it like layers, but a lot of times you're losing 6, 7, 8 inches off of that last middle section, where if you had taken the time periodically every 4 to 6 months to just nip your ends a little bit just to keep them fresh, you wouldn't have to do that. You could have long hair, and you could have long hair all the way down, rather than all of a sudden having to cut so much off to make it have the appearance of health. And your hair, a lot of what we value in hair has to do with our biological need for healthy mates. So if you see somebody whose hair is a bit, it's dry, it's thin, it's flyaway, it's straggly, our deeper brain says, oh, that person's not healthy. That person might not be a good partner or parent. So we would like our hair to stay looking as though our body is healthy. So that means adding shine, which not too bad. Maintaining a trim schedule so that all of your hair can be as long as you want it, and not just some of it being as long as you want it, and adjusting your expectations to making your hair look the best it can for you, rather than trying to force your hair into something it's not going to do. Not everybody is going to have hair down to their waist. I'm fairly fortunate that my hair will grow that far. Not everybody is going to have thick hair. Not everybody's going to have curly hair. Not everybody's going to have straight hair. Not everybody's going to have blonde or brown or black or whatever. But you can take steps to ensure that your hair looks and gives the appearance of health with what you have. And I hope I didn't ramble too far. I kind of feel like I've strayed off the topic of caring for your hair. But it's mostly about caring for yourself. What goes in your body affects your hair. Knowing that your hair itself isn't healthy, it's just dead bits of keratin, melanin, and some other trace elements. Knowing that you can mitigate the need for a massive haircut if you make sure that you take maintenance trims and you don't have to wash your hair every day. Use your own body oils to nourish your hair and help it look and feel better, while also realizing that what you've got is what you've got. We can disguise it. We can create the illusion that your hair is exactly the way you want it to be. We just can't alter your hair too far outside of what your hair will do. If there are any questions, please by all means ask. Send me ideas. I hope this was helpful for someone. And I look forward to seeing everybody next Sunday at noon. Thanks, bye.